So now I thought we were going to paint the greens onto the shoulder pads of Tycon. And I already masked out the shoulders from the rest of the armor with some masking putty. This thing here. This one is pretty good. It doesn't rip off paint from plastic or resin. And it's very oily and very liquid and doesn't stick to the mini, just enough so that it will remain in position, of course. This is pretty good. Actually, one of you guys on Patreon also in the early days was recommending it to me, so big thanks for that. So yeah, what we're gonna do here is going to do a base of Doomball Brown, and then we're gonna take some Goblin Green. I don't know if this paint will be like the old Games Workshop paint, but I think it's a bit darker than the original. But Goblin Green nonetheless, and also a pre-highlight before the Goblin Green with some ice yellow. You know, yellow and greens go so well together. And then some shading with some Rhinoxide and I'm going to remove the, excuse me, it fell off again there. Yeah, some of the preparations is quite difficult to handle sometimes. You can see how easy it is to pull off this masking putty. And the parts you don't get off, you can always get that. It does string a little bit, and I think that can be quite annoying, but it is what it is. You can just dot out the parts you're not getting off the mini. Like this, it will stick to itself. Let's see if we can, yeah, there we go. And of course you wonder, where does the paint go? I'm not quite sure. It dissolves into the putty and I guess after a while the putty runs useless because it contains so much paint in the end. But as you can see now, you can't see much of the paint in there, so it just absorbs it. And I switched the green paints in the middle of the airbrushing, as you noticed, and that was because I thought the Goblin Green was just too plain and non-vibrant in its colors. So I brought forth the old, I think it's yeah, that happens when you're in a rush sometimes. Can't see the name of it, but cam green, something camouflage green. I got the number. The number on the painting pots is more important than the actual names when you're painting with Vallejo. A good shading paint will be the Rhinoxide. But we can also mix a little bit of the Kalahari orange in there. So let's see. Create some richness in the deeper recessed areas. Without thinking about it, actually, I don't know. Actually, let's take some Doomball Brown and mix it with some black. Plain old black. Still get that redness in there. So this would be something like a 50-50 mixture. Most of the times. This is more visible, more vibrant and eye-catching, bringing forth our greens a bit more. Oops, almost took the older paint. I'm gonna paint in our recessed shadows here. It isn't that much we have to paint out though, since it's very small parts of greens on Tycon's armor. Alright, so let's start with some gold and olive. It's quite an old paint, so it isn't really that fond of getting mixed with its painting acrylic oils. So it gladly separates a lot of the times, I've noticed. Paints can be quite difficult when they get older. So this one isn't that bright comparing to the to our airbrush paint, but it's a good base to sort of frame in the detail of the shoulder pad. And also start making some highlights upon the shoulder. It's almost identical actually. So the shoulder would be too plain otherwise, therefore I am making some additional highlights. Next up we can rust the armor down a little bit with some Doomball brown. This was the original color we used as a base. So this can make some excellent scratches and damages on the armor as well. Something like that. Now we can take some Rhinoxide and point it out a little bit more. I will admit the model can look weird when all the other details aren't painted out and they are just splashed with all the airbrush paints. Now I notice I haven't highlighted here. I'll do that later on. Scratched it as well. Some ice yellow to mix up with the golden olive to a pretty bright paint. There we go. Looks quite nice.